My body. Drifting towards the misty sea.
Hello, welcome to the channel. Today I'll make a video, a bit of an overview of the character named Nifle in Duet Night Abyss. He's one of the free characters a lot of people talk a lot about and make builds for, and all of them are quite easy to farm because you just use the regular secret letters to get their secret letters. You don't have to worry about the events and weekly resets and things like that. Took me 128 attempts to get her to INTRON 6, which is, I think, is a very good ratio, in about a 2-to-1 ratio of thoughts to letters, which is a lot luckier than I've been with all the other characters I've farmed for so far. No. I think building her is just skill damage and range for her. We'll get into the weapon later because there's one more thing to worry about. These are the main two stats to concern yourself about, because she does a lot of ability damage, and when she uses the buff to get the empowered versions of the regular skill, she converts all her bonus range into more damage. But range is still nice to have even when you're not using the enhanced events, since just bigger blasts is always good. Other stats aren't as important. Duration is a bit quality of life for the ultimate if it takes a bit of time to clear for the new ones to come close enough. Skill efficiency you can do quite well without, my experience for the most part. Morale and resolve, it's bonus damage if you get them, so it's not something to aim for first and foremost, but you get some secondary stats, they're definitely more efficient than shield or defense or anything like that. For the skills themselves, the most she will do is spam her regular ability that blasts the area in front of her. It goes back and forth between Umbro and Lumino damage, which is a bit interesting because I don't think any other character cycles damage type, they just do one damage type. And the modifiers are really high for both of them. It's a bit less to note, but the Umbro one slows and Lumino one resists their attack. It's just short, and the main thing is just doing big damage constantly. And then the Misty Sea, it enhances them, so it makes the Lumino much bigger, and it makes the... oh no, the Umbrio much bigger, and the Lumino makes deals even more damage. And then the final thing is the passive, that scales on her ranged weapons trigger probability, which is the third stat you would concern yourself with. It makes that whenever you hit something with the Umbral or Lumino version of the ability, it has a chance, based on that probability, to trigger again a free version of the other one. And it can trigger off itself, so you can get multiple hits one after another for free. And that's about all there is to her kit. Fortunately, her passive ability it only affects the Lumino allies and not everyone, but that's a common thing for DPS characters. Now for the introns, the first one is quite good and very worth getting, since it increases the trigger probability for the passive by 15%, and also the cap. So the cap goes from 50 to 65%, which means that about 2 out of 3 times it will blast at least one more time, then that will trigger 2 out of 3 times trigger again, so it's very worth it. And the second one is also very good, because it makes so that whenever you trigger one, the other one gets a 75% damage increase to those targets that got hit by the first one. So again, very much ability spam, more damage. 3 and 5 is the regular one that just increases the give you 3 ranks for the abilities. Fourth one is less noteworthy than all the other ones. Healing might not do all that much, this is not what I've seen so far, and sanity recovery, it's not too noticeable, but it means you can get away with not really building as much efficiency. And then the sixth one is the big one, so whenever you use your ranged weapons, there's a 25% chance that you hit them with the ability for free, which can then trigger to make more free of itself. But INTRON 6 is very strong. It's probably why she gets so much attention from other content creators too. And again, it makes the choice of ranged weapons so very important for her. I don't really have much of a build on her myself, other than ranking up the abilities so far. But ranged weapons, the things to concern yourself with is primarily the probability trigger. You want that to get as high as possible. So the noteworthy then is the flamethrower that you get for free early on in the game, and you also get a free upgrade for the flamethrower that the tutorials takes you through. So the flamethrower is a good starting option for her. Although the weapon skill doesn't really add anything to her. The other noteworthy weapon is the Dramatic Singularity. I don't remember if it's a boss weapon or a secret letter. It might be a boss weapon, because it also has a very high base trigger probability. And they have different strengths and weaknesses. This triggers an AoE, which then gives you multiple chances every time you shoot to trigger the passive, or the INTRON 6. While the flamethrower has a really high rate of fire, which fortunately you can't see. You can't see fire rates in the stats for some reason. This is the one I've been using so far, just getting trigger probability and multishot. One more thing to note is this bow. I farmed it this week, so mine is still building, so I don't have it at the moment of filming. Because it doesn't have much trigger probability, which means you will probably have to add a lot of demon wedges to get that up. Because the character abilities are a lot more important than the weapon stats anyway, so get that up instead of caring about damage or crits, and just get the trigger probability up. This weapon has a much more noteworthy weapon skill, since it just flat up increases the ability range, which is good for her. It can lock onto targets, which hitting multiple targets is like the pistol, it's nice, but not sure how high the rate of fire is for this. And then the final thing is when a luminous character uses it, like she is, she gets another 35% skill damage, which she does love. I'm not sure if this, since it all triggers when you do skill damage, if the weapon can trigger it by itself when you get the free ones, or if it's coded to trigger on manual input. Anyway, this weapon is also one of those three is very good for her. I would probably recommend either the bow or the flamethrower. Melee weapon is, like I said before, pretty much irrelevant for her. Just get something you prefer, or something that increases skill damage or skill range, or possibly attack. If you don't have a preference, go for something with skill damage or skill range. And that's about it. Like I said before, I don't really have a build on her yet. Still working on upgrading the wedges and getting some gold ones. Yeah, the only gold ones I have so far is one for the flamethrower, and it doesn't even add anything important. I'll make another showcase now with Duet. It's a character I made a video on some day ago. The whole thing is increasing the attack and ability damage of other characters in the party. We'll see how much of a difference she makes in the same fight. Well, 70. But as I'm 70, felt like the most appropriate one to test on. I think the original clear was 51 seconds, so we'll see now how long this one turns out. And it's 38 seconds and 0% damage done from Duet. He's really just there to amp up that. Yeah, I hadn't really planned on this part, but I figured I should probably showcase how the INTRON 6 works with the crowds and things like that, since it's really where it shines, and not so much on boss encounters, even if that's what she's specifically good at. It's well, hopefully I put some footage that I captured here in the background as I do some voiceover, because it's a bit silly how it works sometimes with triggering of itself and blowing crowds up without much effort. Like 99% of the INTRON 6 and barely 1% of the weapon doing the work here. Yeah, hopefully future me figure out something with the editing, and yeah. I'm not good at editing ending videos. One last bonus part now, since the bow finished building, or I did the editing for this video. So pretty much all I put on it is to increase the status or trigger probability, and also increase the multishot to like 300% or something like that. See how effective it is. Let's try it on just one or two guys. I want a lot of dudes. Ooh, yeah. Seems. Yeah. Interesting.
Target has been knocked out. Now seize them before they recover and escape. Quest accomplished. Let's get out of here.
Now this is more like it.
I've mucked it all up. You'll get yours next time. Just you wait.
It seems quite interesting, considering it has a lot of more benefits than the flamethrower or pistol. I think one should definitely consider using the bow instead, because that's quite effective. But I didn't know it would. I knew it had a homing or lock-on capability, but I didn't know that it would like loop around like that and come back and hit the targets multiple times. It's really cool. Yeah, definitely like this. I'm gonna use this instead of the flamethrower from now on. This time I'm ending the video for real. No more hesitating or dragging things out this time, I think. So, thanks for watching.